So it wouldn't make a good board table. It'll actually warp very, very easy indeed. Okay, that's a Turkish oak, Quercus cereus. On the left here we have Weeping European Beech. You find this here on my left. You see the beech leaf on it. Okay, an awful lot of people think it's a weeping willow, but it isn't. It's a weeping beech. Okay, not very common in England really. Scots pine up there, you'd be well used to seeing one of them. Italian poplar just there. Hello, how are you? And Birr Castle just here. I'm just going to pull out about 50 feet here. Okay. And then I can have a generous feel of the whole lot and give you kind of the directions of the whole tour and everything else like that. Hopefully I won't park in the moor. Alright, I haven't crashed in there yet. This year. Okay.
Can we get out, can we?
Of course you can.
Find it.
Here we have Birr Castle. Built in around circa 1620. Now it's going to take 10 years to build that joke. It's not there enough. The two originals are the wings on either side. The centre part was rebuilt in the 1800s with an extra story being added on. The front door was moved from the far side to this side. It has 70 rooms in overall, 3 archives, and which date back to nearly all the history of the estate, the town, also the trees, the planting as well, the family, you know, everyone who worked in it and everyone else, pay-wise, we all there, basically accounts like everyone's family would actually have. And it has 4 stories on it, okay. To the right of the front door is the open library, which is a big room, maybe 40 foot square. To the left of it then, you have, just behind that staircase, would be the actual actual dining room of the actual castle itself. Underneath the 2 windows on the right hand side are actually a 17th century still working kitchen. It's in use now this minute, I can tell you that for nothing. Okay, and there are 5 members of staff sitting down having a bite to eat. Okay, and the family are inside as well, having a bite to eat as well at this stage in the rooms on the left hand side.
Actually live in there,
they do indeed. The Earl and the Countess of Ross live there. The 7th Earl and Countess Ross. Brendan Parsons is his name and Alison is her name. Okay.
I'll give them a little wave.
They can leave it here, yeah. The only problem is they won't see it. They're having lunch.
Is the children living there?
Yes, they have children, which are in there. Well, Patrick, who's the next Earl, he's in his 40s. He's living in China at the moment. He was married to a Chinese girl. She's living there in residence with her children. So the children and grandchildren as well. Okay. And that is the seat of the Earl of Ross. The title would have originated from New Ross in Wexford. Came here in the 1600s and then went on in the 1800s. Then the title was re-established. That's why we have the 7th Earl at this stage. Otherwise they've lived to be very, very old. That's fair enough. The maths wouldn't have added up at all whatsoever. Okay. The most prominent time war-wise for Birr Castle would have been in and around between the Battle of the Boyne and the Siege of Limerick. In the winter of 1689, Birr was actually the foreground because it was a stopping off point before you crossed the Shannon. So the Catholic Confederate forces wanted to hold the castle when they attacked it coming up to the Battle of the Boyne, and then the Williamite forces coming down and attacked coming back down to it. It was ambushed twice. Okay, and eventually it went on and led to the Siege of Limerick, and a chap by the name of Sarsfield, you might have heard of him if you know a tiny bit about Irish history, but he actually left that cannon behind him, so he did just there. That's one of his cannons he left behind him, he fled the scene there. So, okay. Generally overall, since then the castle itself has been fairly quiet. It's more like a country house, very relaxed, you know. The day of upstairs, downstairs, and everyone being roared and shouted at. Out the window. Yeah. I mean, people nowadays are more brains and you do. I did. Sorry, my apologies.
It's not like Downton Abbey.
That's just my guide thing.
Oh, you've dropped
That's yours. Sorry, not mine at all whatsoever. So sorry. I thought it was me dropped it. Sorry.
No, sorry.
Yeah, sorry about that. I read it as well. My apologies.
Oh, you're alright. Hey.
Yeah, put me back.
Yeah.
Okay, no bother. Because it was the white piece of paper in my pocket. I was going, what did I forget now? Right, over here on the left-hand side, we have the Birr telescope. So we have on the left, right down in the dead centre in full sunshine, is another weeping beech. Right down in the very centre. Halfway between the telescope on the left and the weeping beech is the Carlow Oak, that's over 450 years old. The reason I'm telling you that is to kind of give you your bearings. As I go around, I'll point it out as we come out of each quadrant as such. And we also have a copper beech there on the right hand side, and halfway between that and the Turkish oak over here we've beeches that are over 300 years old. So basically the tree line's maybe about 300 years old. The other oldest part of the estate is the grassland in front of you. It hasn't been ploughed in 400 years. Now it will be cut at the end of July and made into hay if it's a good summer.
Yeah.
if it's like last year, we'll get a boat and we'll bring it out as silage. To be honest with you, we had a turbobat somewhere here last year, and it can be turned into silage because at the end of August we have about 20,000 visitors to the estate just for one weekend. We have a game and country fair.
Oh, lovely.
Right, and that will actually be here and in on the estate itself, but it's only for one weekend.
One weekend.
The rest of the time, the estate is very much as you find it now,
Right.
thronged with people. There's very little in it at all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Okay, we kind of want it this way too. Okay, well, this is what we kind of want.
What's this?
This is a moat here, my apologies. Yeah, we're just driving around the moat here.
Yeah.
Okay, which is part of the famine relief works, along with the stable blocks and the gatehouse.
Yeah.
They're all actually used during the Irish famine. They were built so that the local people would get a few pounds. Most of them would emigrate then or keep their families in the workhouse, which had to be paid for. And most of them actually survived. The trees in the front line just here, along there, are from Iran. They're ironwoods, and the leaves will actually go a rusty colour or a red colour in a couple of weeks' time in high summer. The next thing then after that are from China, which you can spot straight away there, are the rhododendrons. Yeah. Okay. A good lot of our rhododendrons, except for the smaller ones, are gone over at this stage again, have gone out of flowers. Camellia right behind it. This is heather just here, and the Cryptia just there from Tasmania. The thing at the back is not in flower at the moment. This is Coincia just here on the left, and more actual rhododendrons just coming in here. Okay. We also have forget-me-not here, Doricum or Leopard's Bane just there. We also have some lovely purple tulips just going over this edge. The blues and whites and pinks here are Aquilegia, and there's more of them just there as well. We also have Digitalis or Foxglove just there. And we have more Eucryptias, those limey green leaf trees just in there with the brown timber on them. They're from Nimes in England, Eucryptia niamensis. Okay, we have a silverite, which is a very rare one just down there indeed. And Nimes, which is a sort of, is actually twinned with here, the Erlo in 4 places. It comes from the Meeson family originally. Up on our left we have a blue cedar from Algeria and Morocco, from the Atlas Mountains, so it's an Atlas blue cedar. Okay. Just here we have the river garden. Okay. Often nicknamed Champion's Walk. I start with the big tree at the background off over beyond. That's the Pyodendron giganteum or a redwood. Okay. To the left of that, the brownish one, it looks a little bit like a cherry foliage. It's actually a Dawson's magnolia from China, planted in 1908. That's the Irish champion. To the left of that again, there's a Champi Paris that's actually been pruned heavily on this side. The reason why is the tree with the fork coming out of the bamboo is a Carriera calycina. There's less than 3 of them in Ireland. For 95 years they've been trying to get seeds in that to germinate and they can't. The white underneath is often called the wedding cake tree of Viburnum. To the right of that then, is moving in the breeze at the moment, is Acer japonica, and slightly left of that then again in front of the large magnolia is Acer grissom. We have a huge amount of cherries along here and magnolias, but they're all gone out of flower at this stage again. We have Acer palmatums down along here, the reds and coppers down underneath, and then that big monster over there is Cuprous macrocarpus. Okay. The Monterey cypress, it basically comes from Monterey in California, planted here in 1855, 10 years.
Yeah. Very eerie, that, isn't it?
Yeah, that is the Irish champion as well. It's about 10 years since the genus was found in Monterey in California, so back in them days that's a fairly big thing. And the reason all this exists has nothing to do with trees at all whatsoever. Just at the foot of those redwoods over beyond, slightly to the left of it there, see where the S is? There's actually a little, you can see just a kind of a stay of a root just sticking out, just slightly in there.
Yeah.
It's a little bit hard to see. That's where the first water turbine was to generate electricity. Invented by the 3rd and the 4th Earl. And he had to divert water up above off the river, through the hut, down along the back of this garden here, under the river and into the lakes. Okay. And in order to get there then he built the oldest wrought iron suspension bridge in Ireland, not in the world but just in Ireland. That's it, just going over the river Camcar just there, which strangely enough is another bit of a rare thing. It's actually an alkaline river. Most rivers in Ireland are acidic, but this one's actually an alkaline. It rises in limestone mountains, travels along the limestone bed all the way to the Shannon. Well, just about a mile from here, and joins up then with an acidic river called Little Brosna, which divides Leinster and Munster, so it does. And that's the winter gardens just there. I suppose the only other tree of note really, apart from the herbaceous border, which is attended still by the ladies of the house, Lady and Countess Ross, and her gardeners as well, the poppies are the only ones that are really in big flower up there at the moment, is halfway between here and the door of the castle itself. there is a big leafed or large leafed evergreen Chinese magnolia, Magnolia delavii. It actually flowers at night time in the summer.
Is it? Oh,
Yes, and that was planted in 1912, and we had huge frost here about 3 years ago, where we had minus 17 for a month. It nearly killed it off. Right, just over this side over here, we have a wild English and Irish cherry. All right?
Yeah.
Well, that's okay, that's fine, no bother at all. Just right here in the dead centre. To the left of that is the Resta Dixonii, which is from Taiwan, exceptionally rare tree. Again, less than 7 of them in the country. We have an American acer here. The most common ornamental cherry just right there front, and a Tilia or lime just in the background just over there. So and 2 little larches here on either side of us here were brought back from Pakistan. Okay. This is the high walk here. And again, well worth having a little look around with, you know. Okay. Now, this we drive along here. You can see the Shell Pagoda in there, which is, they often have, it's new to Ireland registry marriages, they're kind of only taken off now in Ireland. So we have Japanese red cedars just here, and a London plane tree over here, Pansis acerfolia, just over here. Looks more like an ash than it does maple, but it has the actual leaf on it as such. Continuous smoking bushes just there, and Acer palmata. This stone is the most important stone in the use of the telescope. This is true south of the telescope itself, so if you don't know where south and north is, and you're reading the compass, you're in trouble. It's the same with a telescope. So they put a stick in the middle of that, and then they would line up the sights on the telescope, and then they were facing south. Left to right of that is called bearing, up into the sky is called elevation. Okay, and then the distance they got from the focal point of the object when they viewed it through the lens, they were able to get the distance. They'd write that all down and then send it by telegraph, say to America, to England, maybe New Zealand at the time, and they'd actually go up in their telescope. Why didn't we see that before? They'd proved that was there, so it's scientifically proven, and therefore it becomes a fact.
Yeah.
Very hard to argue with facts.
Yeah.
You know. We're just looking down here over the lower walk here on the left hand side, so we are at the moment. And a tree that'll pop out here with yellow leaves on it, okay, is a Davidia vocata. But for some strange reason, that one is yellow. And no one has figured out why yet. Okay, no one has figured out. We'll be down to have a look at that in a minute, so we will. We have Himalayan spruce just there, Picea smilania. We have a note of fagus there from Chile, or a beech from the southern hemisphere. Picea wilsonii is this tree just here with the double tags on it. And you probably have the best view and photograph of the telescope from here. Okay, now I don't know whether can you see it in the back there now. Let me move forward, you're alright? Okay, so you can see the travelling arc, the band of metal that goes on the side, the far side of the building. There's a stick that comes out at the bottom of the telescope, literally a plank, and it travels along that arc from where it is at 15 degrees back to 90, back to 120 degrees. You can see the counterweight system and the pulleys on top. You can also see that wooden arc up on top. That slides out to the telescope, so it slides right across the building, and you actually stand in that to look in, because the optics for the telescope are just to the front. See the halfway line in the middle of the diameter of the actual telescope? That's the optics, that's where you look in. So that'll go up on the arc the whole way through, and we'll come back near the end of the tour and I'll explain a little bit better how the actual telescope works itself. Over here we have another world champion. This is a grey poplar, which is an Irish species, Poplar candices, and it's actually the largest broadleaf tree in Ireland. It's well over 400 feet tall, so it is. Okay. Absolutely. If that one starts falling, we definitely want to start running. Okay. There's some horse chestnuts in there, loads of lilac in flower at the moment. Lilac is stunning here on the estate. And there on the left, you probably know about these things already. Most Americans wouldn't, or Australians wouldn't. An ice house. Okay, you'd see them on the big estates where they'll actually have them as early refrigerators to take ice off the lake, and they'll build it up from September, October. They're only a couple of millimetres, but they'll build up over the winter to eventually make a freezer that would last all year round. And as someone said to me before, they put bodies in it in the winter time when they couldn't dig the ground. They didn't have that too much of a problem really here at Birr at all. We're just passing Mahoney on the left hand side, and right in front of us here is a fantastic weeping beech. Okay, if you use the life pied as a landmark, the tree slightly to the left of it there is the Carlow. Okay, and there's a swan there as well out to have a chat. He's the cob. Yeah, he's the cob. I just want to watch him for a second, he doesn't get aggressive. Because he's the nesting you see this time of the year. He seems to be passive enough. He's pruning, or when he's doing that, he's not going to attack anything. You know? Yeah, indeed. No, as long as they don't frighten him, no, he'll be alright. No, he's pruning. Once he's doing that, he's grand. You see, the eggs have actually hatched at this stage, so he's more relaxed. A couple of weeks ago, now you wouldn't have got that close to him at all. Like that's only about 4 foot tall, like you know. Looks nice from here, but believe me, if he stands up full height,
Yeah, exactly.
I'll tell you all about it. I'll be getting a job for the afternoon. Be serving swan tomorrow for dinner. So we will. There's some lovely laburnum over there and a lovely liquid amber. There's a weeping willow on our left, just over here. So just driving by. I'll show it to you again in a minute. We're back. Let's go in here to the lower garden for a minute. I'll show you one or two trees. On my left, as I come in the gate, is spirea. Okay. Looks a bit like Philadelphus. That's gorse. Some lovely alliums, purples. More spirea there. More alliums just along here as well. These are the ones I want to actually show you. These ones just here. Right. The one, first of all, here. Vidia Vipata, or known as the handkerchief tree. You can see why. Fair enough. This one right here underneath us was brought back by the 7 there from Yunnan in China. It's Dipelta yunanensis. Okay. They may become more common in years to come, but for most people now, you probably only see this one in your life. Okay. But they do grow really rampant altogether, a bit like a buddleia. A little bit like a buddleia, even starts flowering now like the orange or the glow buddleia as you saw. But actually it's a flower very, very similar to digitalis. You know, the foxglove itself. Okay. There's the golden handkerchief tree there, so we're really waiting to see what colour the actual handkerchiefs will appear in that. But there won't be. This one is the green one here. The gold one just hiding behind it just there. Then the 2 new cryptids in there, the morning as well. We have a whole lot of rare plants in here. The clethras and all that kind of stuff all over this place, but you're just not in flower at the moment, so it's just you know, over this side over here we have an English programme, okay, holly oaks. One here and one here, Quercus ilex. They're actually evergreen oaks. They're in leaf all year round. Okay. The big monster up over our heads is the great poplar. Magnolia Leonard Meisel. The Cerisi one is often called Sylvestri. There's a whole lot of names on that azalea. Believe it or not, Aldi and Lidl sell them on a regular basis. Okay. Singles and double flowers are usually azaleas as such. We have a cork oak just there as well with the golden leaves on it just there as well. And this is known basically as the lower Riverwalk area just here, so it is. Okay. Always something in it, you know. Agapanthus will be up in a couple of weeks' time, you know. We're just in that little transition between spring, summer. Spring was very, very late this year.
In a couple of weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. It'd be well worth it, like, you know. I have to say that in all honesty. And I wouldn't say, I'd be honest with you, even the autumn here, the colours, that's for Burnham over there. And that's the Irish champion juniper, twisted juniper over there on the left.
Yeah.
We're just driving under a very rare Chinese acer. Okay. And Cana there, or they often have purple pea pods on them. Purples along there, most of them are geraniums, and of course the yellow is buttercup. You probably know the pink ones are geraniums just there as well. More alliums here, more geraniums as well. And probably a rare one that most of you might have heard of in your life but never seen. Brown rose. See it there with the pink?
Right.
Flowers and dies back. Looks as if it's completely gone and then comes back again next year. So it's a lovely pink flower. And there are spirea just there. That one's just there. Often known as maiden tree. Now, one minute. White thorn just there. Some rhododendrons just along here in flower. The big white one is George V. Okay. That's another holly oak just there. We're after passing. Quercus just there. More spirea over here on the left hand side. And a red flowered chestnut. See it just there? Red flowered just there.
Good.
Smell that one. Just pass it back there, just the rest of them as well. Robusto, one of the older roses.
That's lovely.
Yeah. Yeah, Robusto, yeah. Very, it's often known as a tissue rose as well. Also known as a tissue rose as well, yeah.